Hello and welcome to the Hijabi Journalist Show Edition 1. My name is Nima Nzani Kasim. Thank you for joining me. So today in my show, I want to talk about solitude. What is solitude? Solitude is basically time for self-talk and for rejuvenating, for utter peace and for realizing that purposeful loneliness is not a bad place to be, but rather a liberating part of your overall existence. See, some people tend to misunderstand the difference between loneliness and solitude. Here is a quote by the great Hannah Arendt about the difference between solitude and loneliness. The lonely man finds himself surrounded by others with whom he cannot establish contact or to whose hostility he is exposed. The solitary man, on the contrary, is alone and therefore can be together with himself. See, you can feel alone when you're physically alone, and you can also feel alone when you are surrounded by people, even your best friends. Being alone and feeling alone are both very different realities. However, let us not mistake loneliness for solitude. You see, sometimes someone may want to be alone because they want to read a book, they want to watch a movie, or listen to music, whatever it is they want to do. They may desire to have their own time and space. Being in solitude and desiring it is about wanting to have your own space, your own time. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a feeling. It's a situation that you find yourself in, that you start feeling that you're not connecting with people. It's an overall feeling that takes you over and you cannot control it. Loneliness most often leads to depression. You see, I find myself feeling lonely in both scenarios. Most people do. Connecting with people can be very difficult. It's not such an easy matter or such an easy situation. It doesn't mean that you automatically want to feel alone. It's just something that comes up in you. There are a lot of cases where I have found myself feeling lonely even when I'm surrounded by people who love me or people that I love. And it's not their fault, neither is it mine. It's just a feeling that tends to take you over. And most of times when this feeling comes up, it's very easy for you to slip into dark thoughts. You start feeling like people don't understand you, or you start feeling like something is wrong with you. I know this because I have been there, and it was one of the hardest parts. I don't even think I'm actually that ready to talk about it, but I just know that it was a very hard part in my life because I had to figure out a lot of things, and there is nothing bad. So the thing that makes this to be so hard is because you cannot explain this feeling to anyone, okay, without sounding like you are exaggerating or playing victim, or you tend to feel out of place, or let's just say you feel like you don't deserve to be there. There are a lot of cases where I have been surrounded by people who I love and people that love me, but I would still feel alone. And when this happens, it's very easy for you to slip into dark thoughts, like you don't trust anyone, like you have no one to depend on or anyone to confide in. And and even though you may have many people to turn to, you may feel or you may be scared that once you talk to them, they may start seeing you differently. I have been there, and at first I thought that being around people would make me feel better or would make these feelings go away, but it just ended up making me feel worse or hate myself because I did not understand myself, and because these feelings took a while. So it was during these hard moments that I started finding my own solitude soothing, that I started embracing my own solitude. It can be hard to open up to people and reveal your weaknesses because sometimes we interpret vulnerability to weakness. It's not. Feeling alone or being alone is not a weakness. It can be empowering, but not always. Don't fear being alone, because one thing I can assure you is that you are not the only person feeling alone. A lot of us are actually out there who are feeling alone at that exact moment. Confront why you feel this way and think about ways that you can use to solve this situation. Embrace your loneliness. And if there's one thing I'm certain about this, is that once you're open about this, you're going to realize that you are not the only person going through this. There are so many people in this world who can actually account to this, and you just have to be honest with yourself. Once you actually agree with yourself about the sort of feelings that you actually have, then it will be actually easier for you to deal with them. Every person needs time alone, whether they're introverted or extroverted, single or in a relationship, young or old. You may find that time alone will help your state of creativity. Well, it's nice to collaborate with other people. Sometimes it's hard to be truly creative when you're always surrounded by people. In fact, you'll come to realize that the most creative people actually work best when they are alone. Step back and tap into your creativity. While loneliness is self-destructive, solitude, on the other hand, is a positive and constructive state of engagement with oneself and for inner reflection and growth. Immerse yourself in solitude. Give yourself some time away from the expectations, away from the conversations, away from the noise, away from the media, away from the people. Just take some time alone. Stay away from the pressure. Take some time each day, go for a long walk, sit yourself on a bench, and just try to contemplate your life. Stay away from anything that distracts you. Where you want to do. Move away from anything that distracts you from contemplating your life and where you want it to go. You should feel independent and self-sufficient, not lonely, needy, or afraid. You see, seek out a passion. When you believe in something, whatever it is, you have to find it. You should do it no matter what anyone else thinks. If you have found something that is worthy of your time, of your tears, of your energy, of your money, then go for it. Never let anyone stop you. Never let anyone's thoughts distract you. See, when you have found the most important pursuit of your life, often that pursuit can lead you to something ultimately fulfilling for your soul. I'm not talking about material gain. The key here is to realize that it doesn't matter what it is. It could be preventing child hunger. It could be saving the world from poverty. It could be painting, drawing. It could be music. It is whatever you want it to be. There is no scale when it comes to passion. You either feel it or you don't. None is better. There is no passion that is better than another passion. Passion is passion. So when you find something that zaps you out of the bed early or first thing in the morning, something that keeps you awake, something that you think about all the time, you'll only bloom from there. Stick to it. Cling to it. Struggle to make it strive. Another thing you have to do is to question yourself. Ask yourself difficult and far-reaching questions and record your answers. See, beyond your time spent in solitude, it's easy for these purposeful thoughts to slip to the back of your mind and be forgotten. For example, listen, if I had all the resources in the world, if I didn't need to make money, what should I be doing with my life? What would I be doing with it? Why? Perhaps you'd be painting, perhaps you'd be writing or farming or exploring the Amazon rainforest. It doesn't matter. Don't hold back. What can you do to monetize this activity or skill? This would enable you to sort out your career path. Another question, what do I want to look back on in my life and say that I never regretted? Would you regret never having traveled abroad, never going to Europe, never going to Asia? Would you regret never having asked that person out of means or out of the risk of fearing rejection? Would you regret not spending enough time with your family because you're always on your phone? Would you regret keeping your unique view of opinion of the world simply because you're afraid of what people might think of you? See, the questions can be really difficult. If I had to choose 3 words to describe the kind of person I am I ambitious? Am I reliable? Am I nice? Am I kind? Am I funny? Am I hilarious? Optimistic? Don't be afraid to choose words that are considered to be negative, because that proves that you're human and not a lopsided combination of what other people want you to be. It's okay to be human. Sometimes the traits that you don't like can become useful in emergency situations. For example, you think you're very lazy. Stay away from chores. You can hire somebody for that. Do something else. I mean, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you finding your passion and you clinging to it and ensuring that it actually strives, blooms and grows like a beautiful rose flower. You know what I mean, right? Anyway, sometimes there are valuable jobs you're meant to perform. If you do have a truly negative trait, acknowledging it openly can give you the motivation to work on redirecting that energy to something positive. Try channeling that bad habit and into a hobby. You don't like to wash clothes? Try camping. You don't like to farm? Try cooking. You see? Even something like pole dancing could be your golden ticket. I mean, who knows? Go for it. When you're lazy with certain tasks, you can lead yourself to find something that makes you happy, something that gives you that kick. Most importantly, the most important aspect about being alone and embracing solitude is changing your entire perspective about peace and life. Only when you're comfortable with your own solitude are you comfortable with the company of others. Everyone needs time alone. Everyone needs solitude. We cannot grow at a soul level without solitude. The soul cannot surface if we fail to distance ourselves from the noise of the world, from the people, from the media, from the pressure, from the expectations, from the conversations, from everything that people think we ought to be. It is then and only then that inner growth occurs. Remember, the monotony of solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Again, thank you for joining me in my show today. Kindly leave your comments and ask me any question that you find necessary for our topic today. Don't forget to tell a friend about the Hijabi Journalist Show Edition 1, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day.